That is one of the concerns of the Auditor General. When you delay,
you are spotted, madam, have the attracted additional funding.
as we talk right now. Are we not in
The delays have not attracted additional funding. What has actually attracted additional funding is the change of the design. Because
Of course,
the design is changed because of the terrain.
Of course, you just put it the other way around.
It's not the delay. I
No.
think you also the whole thing.
No, he has said, no, the change of design caused the delay.
The change of design will change the cost because some of the designs now come up with the additional work to be done.
You know, madam, what we are discovering in projects is classical to what you are speaking to. Everywhere you go, you'll find a project that had a consultant at the very beginning, middle way, you want to even change that consultant. And the question is due diligence on procurement of this consultant. It speaks many things. It's not plain that you make consultant. Now, if we are here. I'm a best student of economics from Akikilidde. Nowadays used to do 311. Algon, Mudimi, Wanda, a chartered accountant. The big man from here, Kabusu, is a lawyer, stroke a journalist. And you can assume, because I am speaking about these figures, that I'm an accountant. I'm not. So if you hire me to do an audit work, and the middle way you realize the man just has a degree in economics. So the one who did the due diligence is the one with the issues.
Yeah,
So from the word go, you vote wrong people.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Chair. We don't have, internally we're not engineers, we're not architects. We also depend on our colleagues from the Ministry of Works, and I'm not saying they don't have the capacity, but some of these things, I think our real estate industry has not grown to that level, where some of the complex projects can actually be done. But we are building that capacity.
No, she's raising a big issue. The whole procurement of some of these things has issues. How you go about procurement, these specialized works. Whether is it through Directorate of Procurement?
Issue of procurement. You get a consultant, they have architects, they have engineers, they have people. So you don't have that capacity to say, this one will not be able to just provide.
We have a specialized government department.
I don't think they have made that.
No, the question is, what is specialized in that department? You know, the country must run away from excuses. At the end of the day, here I am, I conduct this meeting, but I have a whole bench. Because I have inadequacies in this job. Presumably I'm a senior six on the recommendation of my party. You are so lucky that you get someone with a technical capacity to be a chair. But I can be as ordinary as. So, Parliament provides all these people to ensure that I'm covered up. There's a back cover. Now, a procurement agency for government department, it cannot go on forever and ever and say you have lost, you are into oil. This is where we've gone as a country. You have gone into oil business. You are into mineral business. You are into this. You must do the capacity to avoid these delays. Every project is delayed and it increases the project cost.
Where you find that internally you do not have the capacity, the law allows you to advertise internationally so that you are trying to go to the international capacity, that capacity to do with the market. When you were responding, you brought out another issue that it seems the excellent company has not done contract or are citing an issue of experience or lack of experience. Under procurement, one of the tests that companies go through before they award the contract is the issue of adequate experience. So that when my chair raises it, the concern of procurement, I don't know what we are going to do. Because by the way to make it work, you are dealing with a project on the water. We are talking about the lives of people. If they fail to work on it properly, because the fire is connected to the water, people are right. That's the landing, I think the landing code. Yeah. So failure to decide when puts the life of passengers at risk. So we are now doubting the entire process of procurement from the beginning. They think that this company was not the one who was winning the contract, but you decided to connive and give them the contract because you knew them. So we need to know about this. How did this company actually get this work? There is a problem. There seems to be a problem. How did they get the work that they are not qualified to do? And if you found out that Ministry of Works did not have the capacity to design, maybe they are not designed such a project before, why did you give them the other thing instead of getting competent people, competent enough for that?
Because of time, we've given this issue adequate time. I've ruled that a committee led by the chairperson will go and have a site visit and do adequate preparation, not budgetary. Parliament will cater for its delegation to ensure that this takes on.
We shall make preparations once you tell us when, but I want to assure the committee that we got very good consultants who are now supervising that work, and the contractor is very capable, experienced, and they went into a joint venture with another company that had done work. So it's not that we connived or we gave a company that was not qualified.
Yeah, but when you got a border rider and you gave him a Mercedes to drive.
Then we rectified the problem. We went and rectified the problem.
Okay. Review of section 3.1. Review of the mandate. You shall read that. 3.2. Implementation of budget. You are the budget for the current of this makes me what? Now, you see why you have issues. The consultancy budget is bigger than minimum wage budget. But we will proceed. We'll proceed.
I think even this committee, I'm not trying to preempt our reporting, but this is a matter that is solely for us to report to the House. The issue of Uganda refusing to go for projects as opposed to budgeting in the mainstream budget is an issue. Because they should tell us what is very special with the project. Everybody wants to go in their project, this is my project, our project. It is an area for thinking, in my view.
We've had a discussion about that, and we shall continue to do so. One, you had a budget of 223 billion, 223.36 billion. You are warranted 221.46. The proportion that was audited is 200, is the whole of it. Budget for which activities no funds were released. Take note to read. Utilization of warrants, we shall read. Let's go straight to implementation of the reason why we skip this, we go through them in every agencies, and you know what you will tell us. Because we go by your response, because they are literature. We go for implementation of activities. The auditor audited you for 15 outputs, 97 activities, 66 billion. Is it because of other money is going to subventions? For what? Are we guessing? Is this 221 billion budget includes the UWA budget? So the rest of the money goes to UWA. So we leave it. UWA is under consultant, so it's not our mandate. But anyway, let's want to discuss that. So 11 outputs, 69 activities, worth of 52 were fully implemented. That's a very big score out of 66, but the small ones sometimes matter. 3 outputs with 99 activities and expenditure of 13 billion were partially implemented. Out of the 19 activities, the entity of fully implemented 12. Partially implemented were 5. That adds to 17. And did not implement 2 activities, whereas 3 activities could not be assessed due to lack of performance targets and indicators. Did you do any subversion and mischarge in the year under audit? Implemented activities are there, we've seen them. Unimplemented activities were worth 6 billion. And unimplemented 6 billion. Do you have a table for the partial implementation? I don't see it. Is appendix 1. Thank you. Of course, we run Parliament, but those other activities have to go on. Let me show this one very fast. We are getting information that this same ecosystem, the other tourism site, the other Tororo Sukuru, even in this financial budget, we have another 21 billion. How much is there?
Chair, we had this only in one financial year.
No, we are getting information that even in this year's budget, you have another 21 billion. Have you seen your entire budget as approved by Parliament?
Yeah.
I mean the one we are going to approve.
I thought you were talking about what we submitted.
No. Have you seen your approved budget?
For 2025?
For 2025, 26.
I have not seen, but it's not in what we submitted.
But now we are giving you information. You have more money than.
We are not aware, Chair.
Now, can I don't know how proactive we can be. I think these scandals of these natures. Okay, this one we shall cross-check from our end and confirm. Let's not cause alarm here, but the primary information that there is more money from our sources. you know we have whistleblowers here, but we need to confirm. So now, there is Appendix 1. Can we look at Appendix 1? I'm interested in Appendix 1 to read it with the 1, 2.
Yeah, we on 3, 2, 3.
Yeah, of course, you can even get it from here. For example, but here this gives us the amount. Amount warranted 6 billion, you spent all 5. Amount 8.2, you spent 6. And you have 12, you spent 12. Appendix 1 is in what page? Because you go to get at the amount spent, page what? Yes, you are welcome. Yes. They are saying Appendix 1 is on Appendix 1. For example, 1, you are supposed to build brand targets 10 tourism outreach programs conducted. Actually, you did 6 with the students, tertiary institutions, and conducted in Kampala and Bunyoro sub-region. 4 tourism were not done. Amount spent 6. Amount released 6. Amount 6.7. Amount spent 6.5. So there is 100 million there. 2 Expo Uganda tourism activity conducted in Busoga. 2 were done, yes, 2 Expo were done, fully implemented. Partially implemented. 20 monitoring visits conducted. We did 15. 5 not conducted. The amount of money spent, he could not, but I think never put the money. They are fully implemented, partially implemented. This appendix has everything. Not implemented. Okay, Madam, from the word go without much ado, did you do any diversion or mischarge under the year? So where did you put the 6 billion? Because you can finish this very quickly. Because without much looking into accounts, when you look at, Madam, when you look at partially implemented and non-implemented activity of 6.6, it shows this cultural heritage sites development and maintenance. Kabalega, you had 6, you are given 6 billion for Kabalega, you didn't do this activity. And the amount was spent. But there is also amount of money that looks like it was spent on the partial implementation. We can work around and establish the figures. So this 6 here, where did you put it?
I'm not very sure I understood the question.
Well,
But maybe I ask my planning person to come in.
If you wanted to bring it down, it is a way. So as an accounting officer, you answer adequately. In a simple terms, what happened to their money? Why did you implement the activities which were not fully implemented? Some activities were fully implemented. Others were not fully implemented. What happened? The money was released and released fully. And when you refer to one of your responses, You are trying to say that the Ministry of Finance should always ensure that it releases all the funds. And yet actually the reason for failure to implement the activities fully was not because of failure by government to release funds. We are talking about money which is already warranted, money which is already released, but instead of you fully implementing the activities, you did not. So why? That is the question. One by one, and you finish one of them. Then we will be comfortable.
Chair, our response is as stated in the, we have a response where we state that the Auditor General's recommendation is noted, but the constraint still stands. The Ministry budget for financial year 24-25 remained at the same 36%. The Ministry will continue to engage finance and Parliament to increase.
Sure, Madam. That response has nothing to do with the question. As it states it, when you go to implementation of activities, we look at the money you got as a ministry and spent. The auditor, when you go through, we have just looked quickly, he knocks off on the budget. Money not warranted was for these activities. Okay. We go to utilization of warrants. Then we go for which one we got. By the time we are looking at the 66 billion, it is money you got, and the column here, and money spent. And the activity was not done. Now the question is, where did the money go?
Chair, let me ask the Commissioner to specifically address this issue.
Yeah, these funds were actually available to you, and you had them. What happened? Where did you divert the money to? If there was that chair, I was asking a simple question. If there was any diversion, it would simplify, and then we look at circumstances that led you to divert that money. The money was available.
There's also a possibility that the money is still in the account. You can also prove that in your statements. Maybe you did spend it.
Chair, can I ask the Commissioner to come in? Commissioner Museum.
Thank you, PS. Thank you, Chair. Thank
No, just explain. I was just calling your name because I wasn't sure all along that you were the one.
Chair, they will take us row by row so that we find it easy. We start with the first one there, the one of 6.7, and why you couldn't fully implement it. Refer to Appendix 1. Appendix 1. The first row, tourism development. If I'm right, that's where we are. First, respond to the first one, then we continue with the next. The next row is saying fully implemented. The third one is saying partially implemented. So we wanted to start with the first. They released money for all these. Chair, let them switch on their microphones.
You have organized the coup and taken over my chair. It's okay, sorry.
Chair, related to, I wanted to talk about the culture heritage. Chair, I'm Jacqueline. I'm an acting commissioner, museums and monuments.
Me what?
Nyirachi is a Jacqueline, acting commissioner, museums and monuments.
Okay.
I wanted to speak or to talk about the cultural heritage sites developed and maintained. And here in particular, we have Kavariga and Muwanga site in Dokolo, where, and this is a project that has many other sites, including Kikorongo, including Soroti, Completion, and so in total, indeed, 8.2 was the amount that was warranted, and so 6.189 was spent on these other activities. And the reason why there is a variation is because part of the money was taken back to the consolidated fund, the balance of 2 billion.
In two very difficult waters. Is that explanation?
Yeah, we seem not to be followed. Maybe we have a different. Why are you?
You know, in this column, if money was released to you and not spent, he puts a column here. Okay, money released and not spent, warranted and not spent, he puts a column. The implication of this is that the whole of the 6 billion was spent and the activity was not done. Am I right, auditor?
But Chair, maybe to explain that money, when you look at the 6.7, it is not only for that particular activity. It's for the entire output. So if you look at that tourism investment, promotion and marketing, it's the 6.5, 6.7 is
The output, let's look at the output.
program.
The output has a code.
Yes,
The code is 120013.
yes, tourism investment.
Cultural heritage sites development and maintenance. That's the output. The activities we indicated and requested the money for were Kavalega and Muwanga sites in Dokoro to be developed.
If it's left with you,
And you requested 8 billion. Now, if I go back, this figure looks consistent.
expiring in 2025.
If I go back on my TR, it looks like I saw that figure on Kavalega. If I'm wrong, can you, where was it? I see 8.8 works at Kavalega and Muwanga sites in Dokoro. I see 8.869 billion. Is it any different from, it's just 8.2 for now. Amounts warranted, all of it was not warranted. It's on this, it should be the same code. Now, that money, when you came to Parliament, you requested for that money for those activities. And when the auditor visited, no work was done. Even if you put it, get me right, even if you put it on other sites under the same project name, you never requested the money for those activities. That's why it says, that's why I asked you, did you divert? Because if you don't divert, then you stole the money.
Yeah.
The extreme case for failure to account for this money, then you ate it. And I will send it to that madam.
Chair, this money, the museum's development project had only 8 billion for all the components within the project. That very financial year, we procured and awarded the best bidder. The best bidder was supposed to get about 2.3 billion, and that 2.3 actually was taken back to the consolidated fund because the required documents were not submitted on time. But this total amount, the project has been having about 7.58 billion, so it has been catering for other projects, not only Dokoro. So the activities at Dokoro has just begun this financial year.
Has anybody looked at the accounts?
Mr. Chairman.
Silas,
Mr. Chairman.
let's look at the accounts.
Mr. Chairman, before the account, when you just from her submission,
Maybe these people
the
have
auditor
their
is very
targets.
clear.
the amount is indicated for the entire process. But they have shown what is complete, what is partially completed, and the query is the amount was fully warranted. What happened? Why was some work partially done? It's not that everything is partially done. The auditor is very clear, indicating what is fully completed and what is partially done. And that's what we want you to speak.
And also remember, in her response, she's also talking about money going to other activities. But you see, the concern of the Auditor General is that the activities that you plan for originally are the ones you must spend on. So the issue is about matching your plan with your budget, with your activities, with your expenditure. Things should flow at a go. Why would you divert? If you requested for this activity A, why are you spending on activity B? Yet that activity was not your priority.
Chair, with the permission from my permanent secretary, if we check on page 23, 2, the contract amount for Dokolo is 8.897, and so that is the contract amount for one site. And so, but that contract amount does not mean that this money is, which we had got that financial year, is only for that site.
You are in trouble, madam.
Yeah, we need to ask
I wish you know what you are talking about.
You had those answers. Did you tell the auditor about those assumptions and answers at the time of the audit? Were you there? And that was your area. So who was helping the accounting officer in that area?
Madam, even if that was to be so, when you come to Parliament, and if you are, who is the planner? You are there. The planner knows that these are costed activities. On the line, you can have some other activities. And then you say, under the project Air Code Dokoro, there are other sites to be developed, and you allocate money to them. Now, the auditor, you lumped, not so? You are saying you lumped money on only Kawalega, what he needs. But indirectly, you tend to do other things. So when he scores you on the Kawalega main site, you did no work at all. And then he finds you. That's why I said that constitutes a diversion of funds. You are shaking your head. Now prove to us where the money is.
Chair, the project code and the project name is Development of Museums and Other Heritage Sites for Tourism Development. Dokolo alone is a component, is an output.
Yes.
And
the output, you see, the output is cultural heritage states development and maintenance. Not so?
And Chair, every output.
No, exactly. And when you go to that, that is the output, budgeted output. The activities are two, Kawalega